Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I'm super excited to just sit down with you guys today and chit chat a little bit about how my no-buy is going. So really quickly, I just want to do a wee bit of housekeeping. I owe you guys a what I panic bought video from like before I officially started my no-buy. I will film that still, I promise. It is coming. Yeah. The second thing is kind of related to that. I am going to be trying my best to stay more up to date on filming and then not waiting forever to edit the videos that I film. So I am trying to kind of work together a filming schedule. This is not set in stone, but I'm planning on uploading Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. We'll see how that goes for the next month or so and just see. I'm pretty set on sticking to those, and for the next week or so at least, I do want to be uploading a little bit more than that just because I have so many videos that I've meant to film, but I just haven't gotten around to yet. So this being one of them. It's a little bit late. The other thing I just wanted to briefly address the elephant in the room. I have fixed my hair. Now, I don't know if you guys even care, but it took 6 hours at a salon to get it done. So, not letting my roots grow out that long ever again. But yeah, I think it turned out pretty well. There's a couple things that I still kind of need to get taken care of. We wanted to go a little bit lighter and a little bit ashier on the ends, and it just kind of didn't happen. But what are you gonna do? You know, if it takes 6 hours to like get it to here, it's, you know, like they did a good job. So, and then lastly, the kind of biggest thing that I wanted to talk about is I don't really know what type of information I should be including in these videos. Like, even watching other people's check-in videos, I still am kind of like, what do I want to include? What do you guys want to know? So I'm just going to kind of talk about how, like, I want to talk about my feelings a little bit and how I've been doing with this, how it's kind of been affecting things, and I guess we'll go from there. I wrote down every category that I did spend money on, and kind of where I don't know. I'm not gonna tell you guys like specific dollar amounts. And the other thing is, I know this is something that people will be interested to know, like what are things that I would have bought that I, didn't end up buying because of my no-buy. And the truth is, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to figure that out for myself. And I'll get into that later in the video. But it's something that I think a lot of people would be able to pick out specifically, like, oh, I would have purchased that product, I would have purchased this product, and I just am not sure. So I'll get into that a little bit later in the video, but yeah, let me know down below after watching the video if there's any things that you would kind of like me to talk about in future check-in videos, because I don't know, this is my first like no-buy check-in video, so I don't really know what I'm doing. So at the beginning of the no-buy, like January 1st, I started writing down kind of how I was feeling, and I think I kept doing that until January 3rd, so it didn't last very long. I would say that that's fine because, to be honest, I feel like I haven't really been super concentrated on the fact that I'm on a no-buy, if that makes sense. Like, the kind of end tail of this month, I've really, honestly, a couple times forgotten that I'm on a no-buy, because I'll think like, oh, that might be nice to have, I should look into buying that, and then I'll be like, oh wait, no, you're on a no-buy. Where going into the no-buy, I was freaking out about just the fact that I wouldn't be able to buy certain things. So the first thing, like January 1st, waking up, the first thing that I noticed was how many emails I had that were just advertisements for all of these, not only like beauty companies, but just so many things. That's the thing, is that depending on what time I get up in the morning, sometimes my email is the first thing that I check, because I just roll over, I open it on my phone just to see, and it's like it annoyed me that that was the first thing that I was seeing. And so I did start going through and I started unsubscribing from a lot of the mailing lists because I'm just like, why am I even on here? Like, I don't, even before I went on my no-buy, they were emails that I never opened. And I would just, you know, scroll right past them. But the fact that I was, like, the fact that I'm on a no-buy, it suddenly made it annoying to me how many I got because it was suddenly on my radar. And so I did do a lot of unsubscribing from mailing lists, which was something that I didn't think that I was going to need to do. And it's not something that I don't need to do it. It's not a trigger for me in terms of like shopping, but it was something I ended up wanting to do because I'm like, I don't need this. I don't need these constant reminders that there are things on sale that I could buy. Like, and it's not that I'm going to break down and buy them. It's just that it's like, why bother having those emails even sent? Like, they're literally just cluttering up the things that are important that I get through emails. Before the no-buy, I was like, I just had no idea. I just wasn't paying attention to them. The no-buy really made me kind of focus in on the fact that like the majority of the email that I get a day is from companies, and I'm like, I don't want them. Something else that kind of struck me was that because I'm doing this in the morning, like right when I wake up, which, side note, I have been trying to stop doing this. Even before my no-buy, this was something that I was trying to stop doing, was waking up and looking at my phone first thing in the morning, because I just feel like that's not the best way to start your morning. Like, I want to wake up before any like social media influences or like advertisements or news kind of like filters its way into my awareness. Like, I want to just kind of have a couple moments to myself, just me, myself, just sitting there with a cup of coffee, just kind of enjoying life before all of the, like, you know, before I get into reading all the tweets and looking at, you know, people's Instagram stories and watching, you know, and just seeing, you know, what's on the news or, you know, all that stuff. So I have been trying to stop doing this, but it's not a habit that I fully have built for myself. Something that I realized with the email thing is that I'm laying in bed. I'm still kind of asleep, tired. You know, I'm warm and cozy in my bed. I'm, you know, scrolling through whatever on my phone. So not even emails, but like ads on Instagram, ads on Twitter, you know, just whatever it is that I happen to be looking at. There's always advertisements. And this is all before I've even gotten out of bed. I'm told that I need to buy things or that there's a bunch of like sales that I need to, you know, make sure that I don't miss out on. And it's like, almost you're almost setting it up so you're waking up every single day being like anxious, like, oh my god, I need to, you know, there's all this stuff that's launched that I need to buy, and like, oh, there's all of these, you know, I don't even know, you guys, it's just like this intense, stressful thing right when you wake up. And maybe not for everybody, because not everyone has a shopping problem. But for me, it's like, that is a crappy way to start my morning. Again, another reason why I wanted to start unsubscribing from a lot of the emails that I get. And this also reminded me that I have made purchases, like ordered from Sephora before or Ulta before, while still in bed. Like, I haven't even gotten up and gotten ready for the day, and I've impulse bought something. The other thing that I found myself stressed out about the first day, which is kind of hilarious because literally one day in, I'm stressed out about consumerism in general. Just, I started thinking about everything that's kind of wrong with consumerism, and I started thinking about capitalism, and I started thinking about, you know, just in general, what happens if people stop buying so much. And one thing that I got really stressed out about was the fact, if you, even when I was growing up, like when I was in high school, the drugstore, it did not have that many brands. It did not have that many types of products. They were kind of crappy. there wasn't a Sephora and an Ulta, like, super close by. You couldn't just order online to get, well, I don't know, maybe you could, but it wasn't like, it just wasn't the way it is now where there's so many brands and it's like a new brand comes out every day, and, you know, ColourPop is launching new stuff every single day. There's a wealth of variety in makeup that was not around even, you know, 10 years ago. So what happens to things like this where it's nice to have options, specifically, you know, with face, you know, specifically with skin cosmetics, foundation, concealer, it's good to have a variety of shades to choose from. It's good to have a variety of different types of formulas, whether it's eyeshadow, lipstick, whatever. Like, it's nice to have all of these different things that you can choose from so you can really find something that you truly love and that works extremely well for you. What happens when, you know, if we try to solve consumerism by just not buying things, as much things, like, do companies still compete to the same degree that causes, because the companies aren't like, we want to make sure everyone finds something for themselves. The reason that companies are coming out with these things is because they're in competition with each other. And if people aren't buying as much, there's kind of less competition. Or maybe is there more competition? I think you could kind of argue it either way, because if there's more competition because people are buying less, so like you have to fight over less available money, but at the same time there's less people to sell to, if that makes sense. So I don't know. I'm not an economist. I've never studied any of this from a like economic business standpoint. I've only ever really studied this kind of stuff from like an environmental standpoint, and it was not in depth into consumerism. I just started freaking out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to come up with the solution for like, how do we stop being like such wasteful consumers while still keeping the variety of options available. And then I was like, you know what, Sarah, why are you even concerned about this? It's not your problem to solve. It is a kind of global issue that's gonna take people who are much smarter than you to solve. And you can have your opinion, and that's fine, but you don't need to feel like you have to solve it. Like, and I think I knew that, but it was more about solving it for myself. Like, how do I become my ideal consumer? I was feeling like, well, can I do that while still, like, if I do that, I won't be able to enjoy the wealth of variety. But that also kind of makes me think of going cruelty-free. You think to yourself, wow, I'm going to be really restricted in what beauty products I can purchase if I go cruelty-free. And the truth is that you aren't, because there's so many brands that are cruelty-free, and they're just continuing to become more and more brands out there that go cruelty-free. Like CoverGirl went cruelty-free, so it's yet another brand you can buy. So being a more thoughtful consumer, I don't think, it's like I have this worry in the back of my head that it'll make there be less variety of things. And maybe that's fine. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't really know. But it seems like when I start to think about like shades of foundation, and I'm like, ugh, that seems like a bad thing. It's not the end of the world. We don't need foundation to survive, but it's like, you know, it's nice to have that inclusivity with foundation shades. And so, I don't know, I started worrying about that, and then I just started freaking out. And it was day one of my no buy. And since then, I've kind of stopped thinking about it until now. And now I'm kind of thinking, well, at first I thought going cruelty-free was going to be extremely limiting, and it's not. So maybe with everyone continuing to try and be more of an aware and thoughtful consumer, things like companies will get better ethically and environmentally and all of that without losing the variety. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. These are the thoughts that I have, and I freaked out about it, and it's probably, I don't even know if it makes sense to you guys. I don't even know if you're following along, or if you're just like, what are you even talking about? That doesn't make any sense. So, another insight that I had on my first day is that with all this talk of consumerism, it's kind of annoying that it's called consumerism, because that really implies that the fault lies with the consumer. And I don't think that's true. I think that I'm an avid believer that the fault lies with the companies. If you're going to produce a product and you're not doing what you can to reduce it in an ethical, sustainable way, that's on you. It's not on the people that buy it. Like, yes, I personally want to be aware of what I purchase, but the reality of it is that you sometimes can't know everything. Like, for instance, you know that Jeffree Star, right? Like, Jeffree Star's a racist. We all know this. We don't buy from his company. Maybe you do, but it's a little bit harder for some of these other companies to know that kind of stuff. I guess Mac, right? I don't know who created Mac. I don't know much about the brand. So it's easy to say, well, they've never been in the news for, pretend they're cruelty-free. They've never been in the news for anything bad. The CEO of Mac could be even more racist than Jeffree Star, and we wouldn't know because they're not really in the spotlight. So it's really, the consumer doesn't have enough information to always make the right choice, nor do they have enough time, right? And so it's really up to, in my opinion, the way that any of this gets solved is that the companies start taking responsibility. So I had this sudden realization that the word consumerism is problematic because it implies that the problem is on the consumer's part and not the producer's part, if that makes sense, which I don't agree with. So this isn't really super related. I'm just ranting at this point. So day one was a struggle. Day two, I woke up feeling a lot better about things. I remember I wasn't quite as stressed and existential or whatever. The other thing that I kind of struggled with was this idea of well, now I'm not going to be able to support my favorite YouTubers. I'm not going to be able to support independent brands or cruelty-free brands because I won't be buying from them as much. But the problem with that is that that's placing all of this responsibility on you, on one individual, to make a brand succeed or to help a YouTuber succeed, and that's not practical, right? You buying or not buying a YouTuber's collaboration with ColourPop is not going to make or break that YouTuber and determine how well they're doing, right? If you decide to pass on a release from whatever brand, it's not going to affect them in any way. You're one person. And to take on the guilt of well, if I don't buy from them, then, and makeup struggles, I'll leave the video down below if I can find it. But basically, she was talking about, wanting to support independent brands, makeup brands, and wanting to support Black-owned makeup brands, female Black-owned makeup brands. And those are yeah, you want to support them because obviously, why wouldn't you? And then you're shoot, I'm on a no-buy. I can't support these brands. And then you're thinking, well, oh my God, am I even doing the right thing? But it's not on you. You're one person. You can't buy enough product to make or break a brand, right? So, if you don't need something, or if you don't even really want something and you're thinking to yourself, but I really need to support this one YouTuber, I really need to support this one brand. There's other ways, support them when they launch a product that you actually really want. And that can be how you support them. It doesn't have to be this all or nothing thing where you always buy their collaborations or you're not a true supporter, right? No. And that's the thing, is it's not all on you. So that was kind of a realization that I had from watching that video that made me feel a little bit better because I was kind of starting to feel guilty almost. And someone had commented on my no buy that I should still purchase books and art stuff because I need to support the artist. And I'm not trying to be rude, but No, I do not need to do anything. I do not need to support anyone. It is not my obligation to support someone's career. If they make it, they make it. If they don't, they don't. It has nothing to do with me. You know? I'm not going to buy a book about something that I don't care about just to support the author. Unless I know them personally. That's a little bit of a different story. But for some, you know, it's like, because what? You're going to go purchase every single book ever written to support every single author? No, it's impossible. It is not on an individual to support a brand or an author or a YouTuber. It's just not. So I'm not trying to get in a fight with anyone or anything like that, but that comment actually kind of upset me. And I don't think it was intended to be rude or anything like that. It might have even been more of a haha, like, you know, you don't have to buy every single book. You don't have to buy every single record from your favorite indie brands to support them. When you can and you want to, sure, that's great. It's nice. It's not a big deal. But if you feel obligated, that's all of a sudden you are getting into a situation where you are starting to have a shopping problem, in my opinion. If you start to feel like you have to buy something, that's when shopping becomes a problem. So no, I do not have to support anything. I do not have to still buy X, Y, or Z to support A, B, and C. No, I don't have to. And I got a little fired up at that comment because I was like, don't tell me what I should and shouldn't buy. Especially when I'm telling you I have a shopping problem and I'm trying to help myself undo that, to heal from that, and someone's telling me that I still have to buy books. No, I don't. That's what the library is for. So I actually got a book from the library. It's about migraines. Someone of my Nobi, that Nobi video had so many amazing comments that I'm like, yes, I'm so glad that that specific person watched this specific video so that they could comment this specific thing. So there's this book, right? I'll leave a link to it down below. It's Fighting the Migraine Epidemic, I think is like the main part of the title. I'll put it on the screen. I can't remember the full title. But basically it's like how to not get migraines. And I haven't finished it. I'm almost done with it. I'm not completely done with it. The book makes a lot of sense, and I'm really committing myself to try out her method to no longer have migraines, right? To maintain my health in a way that prevents migraines. It is a book I would consider repurchasing. It's a book that I would consider purchasing after my no-buy because it is something that I know I will want to look back on and will want to reread through it to just better understand things and to have as a reference, right? That's when you buy a book. Or you buy a book because you love books and you collect books, much like I collect makeup. But for me personally, that's when I buy a book, is when it's something that I know that I'm going to want to go back to. Otherwise, it just sits there. It's just a thing that sits there. It doesn't bring me joy that it sits there, because I think like, well, someone else could be reading that right now, you know? Like, its pages are closed. I'm not getting anything from it. And that's not how everyone feels about books, and that's fine. But to me personally, that's when you buy a book, is when you know it's something you're going to be pulling off the shelf occasionally. So things that, you know, series that you love that you want to reread every so often, things like that. I don't need to buy every single book to support authors. I would go broke. It's not my obligation to go broke for people that I don't know. It's just not. It's the same exact thing if you watch the Makeup Struggles video. It's the same exact thing if you apply it to books. Okay? That was a little bit of a rant, and I apologize, but just going forward, please don't ever tell anyone what they should be spending their money on or not spending their money on. It's not your business, and it doesn't help people, especially people who have a shopping problem, to tell them you shouldn't be doing your no-buy this way, or you should be doing it this other way. Because it's not your no-buy, it's mine. And I love to hear about your guys's, and I'm cool that people are going to do it differently, but you need to respect that I am doing mine the way that I chose to. So that little bit was not for most of you guys. Most of you guys have been super, super supportive. There's been a couple of nasty comments that I've deleted. People are dumb, but I am choosing not to dwell on them. I'm choosing not to dwell on all of you positive people out there who are really supportive, and even though you're doing your no-buy different way or you're doing a low-buy instead, like, you guys have been so, so supportive, and I want to return that. So let's move on from my little rant. So January 3rd, I ended up going on Trend Mood, and I thought, this is it. This is where I fail. And this is where I buy some makeup because I'm not going to be able to resist myself. I started looking through all the new makeup releases at the time, and there was the new Pixie came out with a new skincare line that was intriguing to me. But I knew immediately right off the top of my head, like, there's no way I'm going to break my no-buy for that because I already have way too much skincare. It wouldn't even be stuff that I could use right now. The Lime Crime Venus XL2 palette was something that I was eyeing. It looks so pretty. I love the color story of it. But I was like, no, I'm on my no-buy. I'm not going to buy it. It's fine. And I was thinking, I'm just going to try and find shades in my makeup collection. And thinking about it that way, I was like, oh, that's going to be really exciting to kind of create my own little dupe for that palette. And then I never did it. I never went and created a dupe for it. And since that, I haven't really even thought about it much, and thinking about it now, I'm not really as intrigued by it as I was when I first saw it. And maybe it's because I'm not looking at it right now. But it's not something that I've been thinking about. It hasn't stayed on my mind. So definitely not something that I need to purchase. And then I think I wrote down that I was intrigued by the Morphe foundation. And since then, I don't think I've thought about it once. So, all right. And those are all the notes that I took. I stopped taking notes after January 3rd. I think honestly because I just started to focus on other things. First couple of days, it was like, I'm on a no-buy for an entire year. I'm freaking out. How am I going to survive this? You know, it's going to be so, so hard. And then I got back to work. I, started just doing other things with my time and thinking about my no-buy. So it's been relatively easy. And I'm sure that's not going to last. Not shopping for 1 month is way different than not shopping for a whole year. I had a lot of other things on my mind this month. And I don't know if that's maybe part of it, that I just haven't been really feeling, and I've been feeling the need to shop in terms of being stressed out and having that as a nice distraction. But weirdly, I haven't had any issue in finding distractions elsewhere when I need them. YouTube, watching TV, even doing my makeup. Occasionally at work, I'll check Trend Mood because I'm bored. And when I look at Trend Mood, honestly, there's only been a couple of things that I'm like, oh, that looks nice. Everything else I'm like, oh, really? Like, I don't. And I know for a fact that it's something that I would have been interested in before my no-buy, and it's now not something that I would be interested in. And it's not because I've learned so much in the 1 month that I've been doing this, but it's just that when you take away that question of like, will I buy this or not, because you know the answer is no, suddenly I think you see things for what they really are, and you just, and so there's been so many things that I looked at and I was like, I'm pretty sure that is something that I would have immediately run out and bought before my no-buy, and now it's something that I'm looking at, I'm like, I don't want it. And I think that's because I've also come to be annoyed by how much stuff I have. So definitely feeling this like need to have less already, and I think that that's kind of helped me keep my mind off shopping, because the thought of bringing in any more things is annoying to me. So yeah, I guess what I wanted to say is that it was definitely a struggle those first couple of days. And then after that, it was like I kind of just moved on to other things that I wanted to be focusing on, like YouTube videos and trying to figure out like ways that I can be vegan, like just, like that's something that I've struggled with way more, is going vegan and my thoughts on that than on my no-buy. So I'm gonna kind of go through categories, let you guys know what I spent my money on. I'm not really gonna say like how much I spent per category, but I'm just gonna kind of, yeah. So the things that I spent my money on in January, I have on here most of the like normal stuff. So rent, car insurance, utilities, you know, internet and my cell phone bill, gas. I have a gym membership that I can't cancel, even though I don't use it. If I could cancel it, I would in a heartbeat because I just don't use it anymore. So that's on there. It's kind of just a annoying expense that I have. And everything else that I spent my money on, I did spend my money on getting my hair done. And that to me is, you know, we talked about this in my intro, that getting my nails done, getting my hair done, those kinds of things are allowed because to me those are more experiences. You're paying for a service, not for a product. You're not really buying anything. You're, again, paying for a service. I personally think of them differently. It's cool if you don't, but I did get my nails done, I think only once this month. These are still my fake nails, but I painted them. We can talk about that in a later video. I couldn't take my earrings out anymore with my acrylics on, so I just decided like I don't want to do it anymore. I also spent money on medication, and the other categories are groceries. I ate out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I ate out 5 times this month. All 5 times that I did this, it was going with a friend somewhere to eat. I think one of the times was I was out at a restaurant for a friend's birthday. My friend and I went out of town for our friend's birthday. So that was a lot of eating out, kind of in one weekend that all happened. That's kind of odd. I think I don't normally even eat out that much during a month. So that was kind of interesting. But there was no fast food. There was no, you know, there was no takeout and going home and watching TV while eating. It was all like sitting down in good company, eating good food, and that was exactly what I wanted. And then I did spend quite a lot of money on some travel that I'm going to be going to LA in February. It's already February. It's coming up really quick. So like next weekend, from when I'm filming this, next weekend that I'm going to be in LA with my friends. So that's an experience. Obviously travel, all that is allowed for my no-buy. So that's what I spent my money on, and even though the trip is in February, I purchased everything for it, like tickets and all that in January. So I'm talking about it now. So that's kind of where I'm at with this. I definitely felt like very conflicted when I first started. I was freaking out leading up to my no-buy, right? And then, I don't know, it kind of just went away. I have not needed any replacements for any beauty products or, you know, skincare, anything like that. The only area that I would like to kind of adjust, and I think I'm not going to make any final decision until next month. So going forward in my no-buy, I would kind of like to add this in, but I don't, give me your thoughts down below if you have any, because I am not entirely sure how I want to do this. But I've just been relying heavily on pre-made meals from the grocery store, which I kind of anticipated, but I thought eventually I would be able to kind of get into sort of a routine of, you know, I go grocery shopping on this day, I make this amount of food for this portion of the week, and then go shopping on this day, make food for the rest of the week, that kind of thing. And it just never happened because I was so busy. And again, it's something that, you know, it's like, well, I could have made time for it if it was my top priority, but it didn't end up being my top priority. So I'm wondering if going forward, if I just exclude, you know, pre-made food, like, and I'm talking things from, you know, a hot bar type thing, like at Whole Foods. I'm talking about like a pre-made salad, frozen meals, that kind of thing. I am starting to think that I might want to exclude, or I guess include those in my no-buy so that they're things that I don't buy. The only problem is that I'm worried that I will end up like, I'm like, I know that this won't happen, but I am worried that I'm going to end up starving. Like, because I just get so, I think it's like a blood sugar thing. When I get hungry quick and I get hangry. You know, and I know that with like careful preparation, I can avoid these situations, but if I always have that in my mind as a backup, like, oh, I can, well, if I don't, you know, cook something, I can just run to, you know, the grocery store and get a frozen meal, or, you know, go to Whole Foods and get some, you know, vegetarian fried rice, or, you know, whatever it is they're serving that day. That's been the thing that they've had for the last couple of days, is like vegetarian fried rice. And it's like, it's good. It's not that good, you know what I mean, though? So it's like, is it worth it? Like, I think for the month of February that I would like to try to add this to my no buy. So no frozen meals, no anything. Like, it has to be something that I prepare at home, unless I'm going to sit and eat somewhere with a friend or family or something. I'm going to try this for a month and go from there, and I might make some allowances, or I might not. Maybe I'll just become like a cook. So anyways, that's kind of all I had for this check-in. All I had. I'm sorry for the little bits of me rambling, but I thought it was kind of important. I don't know how much I will kind of leave in this video or not. As far as negative comments go, I generally, you know, I don't get that many of them, so when I do get them, I'm just going to delete them and move on. I'm not going to try to get in a fight with anyone. I'm not going to try to, like, defend myself to some stranger on the internet. But I would just ask that you guys, going forward, especially if you're watching a lot of these no-buy videos, really think about the fact that you're telling, if this is something that you've been doing, that you're telling someone with a shopping problem what they should or should not be purchasing. It's not helpful. And I'm saying this more for other people so that they don't get those types of comments on their videos if you don't agree with how they're doing their no-buy, or you don't agree with something. You know, it's because it's not up to you, it's up to them, and to each our own with how we want to kind of go about the issues that we see in terms of our spending habits, and it's not up to anyone else. And then for everyone else out there, which is the majority of you guys, I want to say thank you so much for being so supportive and so welcoming and friendly. I've been able to talk a lot with some of you guys, and it's been really great. So I wanted to say thank you, and, you know, keep being supportive of each other, keep helping each other out while we're, you know, kind of struggling through this together. Because I am anticipating it's going to get a lot worse. So at least for me, I think it's going to get a lot harder than this month was, because it's only 1 month. So anyways, that is all I have for this video. Sorry if I was a little bit more, like, serious and, like, I don't know, a little bit, I kind of put myself in a little weird funk, I feel like, right now, but now I'm getting out of it. So yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for all of your support. I really appreciate it, and you guys are so much fun to talk to, so much fun to get to know, and yeah, so if you guys are also doing a no-buy and haven't yet checked out any of your, you know, posts or your videos, let me know, and I will take a look when I have some time. But yeah, that is it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have an amazing day. Bye.